Well, basketball season is right around the corner, and Kansas men's basketball and the rest of the Big 12 squad took to Big 12 Media Days this week. Bill Self, of course, addressed the Jayhawks' 2022 national championship win, and he says that it was just something that KU owes to both the university and to the league as well. Now, Kansas and Baylor have both performed on the big stage over the past 2 seasons, and Texas Tech made it there back in 2019 as well. So Self says that if anything, all of this success from these Big 12 teams is just a sentiment to how good the conference really is. Now, we've all seen that these Big 12 teams can last throughout the regular season, make deep postseason runs, and I guess be favored going into the following season as well, because the Big 12 is tied with the SEC right now, both with 5 teams in the preseason top 25 AP poll, and that's the most out of any other conference in the NCAA right now. So the focus for the Jayhawks is not on the national championship win from last season, but it's on building off of it and moving on to prepare for what's to come this season.
I mean, we should be tired about talking about it. We'll talk about it when I retire, with my family and friends and grandkids. But right now, we need to focus on, what's happening next. And what's happening next is, the league's a monster, and we better be prepared to compete.
Well, this year's Kansas team looks a lot different than the one that made the national championship run just a few months ago. Kansas lost 7 players over the offseason, including 2 to the NBA, a couple to overseas teams, and a few who just graduated. So the Jayhawks are going to start off on a clean slate, fully fresh start with a lot of new faces here, although Self says that some of these new guys are very young and they're very inexperienced, so he's calling on some of the older vets to come in and help them out. Now, Jalen Wilson and DeJuan Harris are 2 returning starters from last year's title team, and Self says that if there's anything he wants to bring back from that championship run into this season, it's that experience piece. And I guess you could go ahead and throw transfer Kevin McCullough in there as well, as he played at that high level when he was with Texas Tech just a few years ago as well. So it's going to take the expertise and the experience from these older guys to kind of trickle down to the younger guys and get everything started off on the right foot for this Kansas team. But it will be a step in the right direction towards moving on and prepping for what's to come, as this is a new chapter for Kansas men's basketball. And as Self says, it's time to turn the page.